Hi, hello, and welcome. Tom and Q Show, episode 16.
Different.
Yeah. There we are. Our sound check there. Can we hear?
Can we hear?
There we go. It's working.
We
Testing
got
1,
sound.
2. Testing 1, 2.
I love the technical ways that we have to check ourselves to make sure we're good. It works.
Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. We'll talk about that too, right? So welcome, everybody. We are listening right now to Ragged Old Flag by Johnny Cash in celebration or in remembrance of this past Memorial Day weekend. Special thanks, big thanks, giant thanks, the biggest thanks of all to all of those veterans, first responders that paid the ultimate sacrifice as we start this. I guess it's now the unofficial start of summer.
Yeah.
You know, Memorial Day, which was yesterday, Monday, which is crazy. We talked about it. Got up this morning. I'm like, trying to put together my list of stuff today that I'm going to do. And I look and I'm like, oh, we have a show today. Every time there's a long weekend and you come off of a Monday and then it gets to Tuesday, which Tuesday feels like Monday, you're just like, oh yeah, today is Tuesday. It's not Monday.
Right.
So it's like, oh, okay, well, we're here. And so a little disheveled.
Yeah, and it's fun. When I used to work retail for so long, and you'd always gear up the store for the weekends, right? And you'd have managers and stuff. In the role of a trainer, you have to prepare to get their staffs ready and their stores ready. And it's like, look, guys, Saturday will come after Friday every single week on your calendar. You should not be surprised that the weekend is here. Friday comes after Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's like that every week, guys. I don't understand how there's a breakdown in making your schedule, and it's so funny because it's like, oh, man, it's Tuesday. Here I am falling on my own sword.
That reminds me of Mr. Heisman's class, algebra class, Korean middle school. He asked a particular student, I won't name his name, how many days are in the week? Again, I want to say we were in 7th or 8th grade. How many days are in the week? 7. And Mr. Heisman fired back, what about leap year? And he's like, and he said, 8. And Mr. Heisman goes, oh yeah, what's that day called?
The way you respond under fire.
Yeah, it's like,
it's still 7 days a week.
Still
brother.
7 days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There is no 8th day in there.
Because of that, no. Thankfully.
So here we are, May 31st, unofficial start to summer. I love the unofficial start to summer because pools are opened up, the water parks are opened up. Drove past Kings Island quite a few times last week. Place is packed. Things are the way they should be, right? Over the last few years, things have been a little different.
Kids are sleeping till 1 in the afternoon.
I know. That's how I felt last week when they were off of school. Because we're both kind of up trying to get them ready and get our day started, plus get their day started. And the first day, and I never. It's like 8:30. I'm like, whoa! I felt like half my day was gone.
Yeah,
because I missed, that first hour. So, anyway, but here we are, Monday, Tuesday. See, I did it again. We have some awesome stuff. Obviously, we got sent this. Last week, this T-shirt here, it's kind of difficult to see, but what it says is, local legend, cornhole company, the king of airmail. And it's got on the back.
So yeah, they've gotten a lot into the cornhole world. So you follow a lot of their stuff on their links and on their pages. So they're Ryan has gone down that path and got them big into the cornhole world, and it's neat to watch them grow in there. They have bags and most of the stuff on there. So they got koozies, they got bags, and a few other things. Whoever is selling it goes to a lot of good causes. So it goes towards some of these guys' tour money. So they'll create a special bag, pay for the bag, and some of those proceeds go toward that group competing, paying for the cost. And same with the koozies, the sweet skinny can solid koozie beer holders that we gave out on the show back at Christmas time. The lady that makes those, again, she does all the work, she does everything, and the proceeds go to funding her. So anytime you see anything cornhole related on there, not anytime, but the majority of the time you see something cornhole related for a local legend, it's going to help for their tour, and it goes to good causes. So
yeah, it's and I love the feel of the t-shirt. Now, we asked for him to design something for us, and they have finally come in. You are supporting. You were like
I'm the model.
Yes, you are supporting. You're like the guy that wears the t-shirt of the name of the band when they go to the concert.
Yes.
So here we go.
I'm Q from the Tommy Q Show.
Yeah.
So the logo, obviously, we love Ohio. Is that a good placement?
A great placement.
So we got the Ohio in the local legend, which we love, and then the back is good placement.
Fantastic. Looks good to me.
So yeah, we love our Bengals and the run that they went on, and
the year of the tiger, right?
Yeah.
It's orange and black. That seems to be the color this year for Cincinnati. So
yeah.
Fantastic job by those folks,
Love
Ryan and those folks at Local Legends. We'll have information on how you can get those particular t-shirts with, the allotment, the order that we made. The first order is a little bit small, just kind of to see, one, what they look like, what we have, so we can be able to give them out, whether we are offering them for purchase or donating, whatever it is that we're going to do. That stuff that we're gonna find out and figure out probably over the next couple days. But they are fantastic. A plus.
Yes, I told Tom, I was like, man, I'm like geeked out, excited over them. Like, I love them.
My kids, when they see it, they'll be like, "Oh, you guys got merch?" Like, yeah, we've got merch now.
We official, baby.
Yeah, we got merch now. So anyway, that's out there. If you see it, if you like them, pay attention. We'll let you know how you can get your hands on them. So last week, did the show.
Other summertime songs are there? There's a country guy. No, I don't know.
What about what's Luke Bryan? You caught me off guard now. I'm drawing.
We need some summertime songs.
Yeah.
Oh well, so we're gonna go into stats.
Go into stats.
We struggle with
Told you, man,
summer
like it's
theme songs.
It's Monday, Tuesday is what it is today.
The first summer song that's popped in our head is Band. So we can't do that. Well, the song's not, but he is. But
the what is the song by Luke Bryan? Sunrise, sunset, repeat. Sunrise, sun. This is what happens.
Sunrise, sunburn, sunset.
That's what it is. Alexa, play Sunrise, Sunburn, Sunset by Luke Bryan.
Sunrise, sunburn, sunset isn't included with Prime.
See, and then we run into this shenanigans.
Not happy. Alexa, stop.
Here's a station for you based on the song Sunrise.
Well, we'll give this a shot.
Sunset by Luke Bryan.
So last week we did shows. School's out for summer, right? And it is. It's out for most. I think there is one particular person we know that they are still in school, which kind of seems normal to me, being that we're still in May.
Yep.
But they are still in school, so for that group, that has to sting. Summer's already started for everybody else. Like my kids right now, they're doing all the summer camps, the sports camps at the high school, and like that's like our lone break right now until like August, because they're here, and it's like. So school's out for summer. Podcast stats. 8 downloads, right?
Alexa, play Kenny Chesney, "Summertime."
There we
That's
go.
the song I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Summertime.
Yoo-hoo rolling on the floorboard.
Yoo-hoo. Rolling on the floorboard. All right. 8 downloads from last week. Thank you for tuning in, however it is. 87% were here in the United States. 12% was in Germany. So, Hans, welcome back. Great to see
Hans,
you.
we want to get you a shirt, brother.
Cincinnati, Ohio. Westerville, Ohio. Harrison, Ohio. Hillsdale, New York. Interesting. I don't know anybody in Hillsdale, New York, I don't think. But
Can't make it in New York, can't make it anywhere, right? We made it.
we did it. We're in, I don't know if that's the big city. Maybe that's in Buffalo.
Hillsdale?
I don't know.
Is that what you said?
It says Hillsdale.
Hillsdale, New York.
Today's geography lesson. Where is Hillsdale, New York? Song on the radio.
Hillsdale is, wow, it's on the border of Massachusetts, Massachusetts and New York. So it's Albany, New York.
So it's up there.
It's up there. So yeah, just it's right there on the border.
Huh.
Right, middle of nowhere. I've driven through there plenty of times.
That's probably,
That's my path.
somebody knows you up there.
That's it. That's my path to get to go see Paige at Amherst.
You have crossed you have crossed state lines, and well done getting us a listener, a tuner.
And that's without merch.
That's without merch. In your stomping grounds.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. So, again, usually about this time we talk about, we try to help folks based upon what we do for our actual profession, other than just goof around the microphone on Monday, Tuesday. I'm going to keep calling it Monday, Tuesday.
We used to do a training session. We had a guy, Brian Zeski, and we do it every Tuesday, and he relabeled it to Q's Day. So I love this day of the week, Q's Day. It's my day. So
I'm
that's
down with
the
that.
one day of the week that surprises people, because it's a new day. That's that leap day. It's Q's Day.
Tuesday. That's the 8th day during leap year.
Yes.
Yeah. So, real estate topic, we like to cover typically one where we kind of get into maybe some of our opinion, maybe some of our expertise. Maybe we can help somebody kind of along the way if they maybe answer a question or two they may have been thinking about. So, this one in particular is a good one. We're going to talk about repairs and the responsibility or the protection for the buyer, the protection for the seller's responsibility, whatever that might be. And then you have contractors, qualified, licensed, specialized contractors, those types of things. So in the past, your typical transaction, the buyer would do their inspection and then hand over what they call now a defect notice, or basically an addendum asking the particular sellers to make repairs that they feel are important to them.
Yes.
Sometimes you get a list that's 3-4 pages long where they just basically, I've had them where they hand you the inspection report and go, we want them all fixed.
Fix it.
Yeah. And then you've had others, it's like just a couple small things that you can understand how they are important.
Yep.
Nowadays, that's one of those things right now in this hot market. I'd almost say it's probably more rare to have people ask for.
Yeah,
repairs.
it's not common because all your inspections it's just such a competitive world out there that it's for buyer's knowledge only, for buyer's knowledge only, for buyer's or no inspections at all.
So let's talk about that. Buyer's knowledge only, right? You do an inspection. So inside the purchase contract here in Ohio, you have a bunch of check boxes, right? And we'll use the general home inspection checkbox, right? So you have, and then it's blank, and you get you can put in a timeline on how many days you have to basically get your inspection people, whoever that is, get them through, right? And then once that's complete, once you have another certain amount of days to basically hand over a defect notice or a request for repairs. And then on top of that, you have another time frame in there where now, okay, you have a timeline to basically negotiate whatever that's going to be.
Which is fair. So as a buyer, things and uncover them, and it's, hey, at this purchase price, at this negotiation, we were under the understanding that this wasn't going to be a problem. So now we want that repaired, which is fair. And then we put that on the seller, and then the seller says, oh, this is news to me. Give me time to do my due diligence, to call some contractors and have some people out to look into this to make sure that I can or want to do it. Or again, like you said, another negotiation of, will you guys take money instead? Or can we repair it? Can we do this? And there's some things, it gets into a lot of moving parts with the bank, the lending, and stuff like that, to where it potentially has to get repaired. But yes, that is that period of time of seller reserves a right to say no.
Yeah. You know, if you're looking at it, there's a couple of different options that are kind of on the table. There's a lot of options that are on the table, but, you know, you could basically say, yeah, we'll fix all this stuff from a seller's responsibility. They could say, hey, yeah, that's fine. We understand. We'll fix whatever it is that you're asking for. You know, just, again, everything in life's a negotiation, right?
Everything, yep.
So in that case, they could say, hey, no, we're not going to fix anything. Or, hey, we'll fix A and B, but we're not going to fix C and D.
Yes.
Right? So let's talk about the instance where, okay, the seller, we have this contract, we have this addendum, they hand over a defect notice or request for repairs, and the seller says, yeah, I'll take care of it, right? There's a couple of things that can get really tricky inside of that defect notice. And I say really tricky, it's not tricky to an extent. It's really, like anything, you've got to read the wording of what that contract, what that addendum states, right?
Yes.
So there are certain specializations that I totally get and I totally understand when somebody says, hey, we want a licensed blah.
Yes.
Whatever it is.
HVAC guy.
Yeah.
Chimney guy. Yes. Or gal.
There's also, when I write it, typically, unless it's, I don't really put licensed when I write it. I put qualified.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows people, right? And it's like, hey, my brother-in-law, he does HVAC work, or he's a roofer, or he's an electrician, or what have you. So there's kind of that fuzzy gray area in there of like,
yes,
you want, as an agent, I always want to make sure we're kind of, that everybody in that transaction is kind of on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody hands me a report or an addendum like that and it says, hey, we want a qualified whatever. Let's just say
what is qualified? Are they licensed?
Right.
Or, yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of moving parts with that.
I would probably at that, and let's just say it's an electrician, right? And I don't know. Let's say it's the panel. You want a new panel.
Yep.
And my brother-in-law is an electrician. I'm probably going to go to that buyer's agent and say, hey, my brother-in-law is an electrician for XYZ company.
Correct.
He's going to do the work. They have to follow those electrician.
And everything is a negotiation. So my response back to Tom would say, can you provide credentials?
Yep.
I'll talk to my client. Will you provide credentials? But I don't see this as being a problem if he's a licensed electrician.
Now, if they said,
can
hey,
you change the addendum? Yeah.
My brother-in-law's a dentist, but
my brother-in-law slept at a Holiday Inn last night.
Exactly, right? And so there is that fuzzy gray area in regards to what that is. Now,
yes.
On the flip side of that, if that particular buyer agrees that my brother-in-law can do the panel, he does the panel. typically no issues if everybody is on the same page.
Yes, and folks, that's called communication.
Communication with a capital C. The issue comes in when there isn't that communication and somebody says, hey, can you provide me with receipts or invoices or whatever?
Hey, we sent the addendum over for you to repair all these things.
Yeah.
Hey, they're all repaired. Can you provide receipts? You never asked us to.
Right. Like,
well, we assumed.
well,
Spell that for me.
they are repaired.
They are repaired.
We have done it.
Yes.
So there's some fuzzy gray area when it comes to those types of things. I would always recommend if it's something that is unique or like a chimney, right? Not everybody knows a chimney guy, right?
Correct.
Or a concrete mason, or hey, the basement leaks. Like in those
Correct.
cases, or hey, you have termites. Like, I'm not going to go to Home Depot and get some spray to take care, take care of
Yes,
the
there are some things that will by default come with a skilled person, a licensed person, and a receipt.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting radon mitigation from.
No, and that's why I like more so qualified, and I always ask them to provide
Documentation of some kind.
receipts, invoices, warranties, whatever.
Hey, this
comes
rail's loose. Can you fasten it and bolt it?
Yes.
By a licensed certified contractor.
Correct. I will
No.
not do that.
Screwdriver in.
Yeah. I'll remove the rail before, Yep, fix the rail. It's gone. It doesn't even exist. What rail?
This GFCI needs one here.
Yeah, I got a screwdriver.
Licensed certified electrician. No. So, yeah. So from a buyer standpoint, make sure you're protected, that whatever it is you're asking for, there is proof that it was done, and it was done by a competent individual. Because it can always be, again, you can go back to negotiations, because those phone calls have happened of hey, his brother-in-law or his sister or someone in the family does that for a living. Hey, you know what? I don't have a problem with it, but it's not my house. It's not my money. Let me check with my client. Are you okay with them being related to or knowing the contractor that does the work? How do we know they're really a contractor? We'll ask that for that documentation. Yeah. So there's always a way to protect yourself. And then as a selling side, we want vagueness.
Yeah.
Just do the work.
Sweet.
Done.
Yeah, because again, everybody knows somebody, right?
And that's also worked with, certain negotiations of the way we present it on the buying side of, hey, I understand what we're asking for, and my verbiage is vague enough that you can do it your way. So we're not pinning you into this situation because it is maybe a cosmetic thing or something that a general contractor can do it. Mm-hmm. So, hey, I didn't specifically write that I wanted receipts and this and that, so we're not trying to beat you up, but really work with us here and get this rail fastened in securely so it's not wobbling.
Right.
So that also does communication goes a long way in getting everyone to a closing table. But protect your buyers if you can, and get receipts and documentation and pictures, whatever. So
yeah, I mean it's one of those areas, again, like right now you don't see a whole lot of, but I think eventually we will kind of get back to some general transaction tactics, right? Or
yeah, I was talking to someone the other day, and I can't remember who it was. It doesn't matter, but the conversation was talking about how the market is trending and how there's no home inspections and this and that, and how it's really beneficial to the agents. And I was like, right now, maybe on the surface, but in 6 or 7 years, when all of these people are selling, then we're going to feel it somewhere along the way. Mm-hmm. Once it was over inspections, now it's under inspections, and then in 5 or 6 years, there's going to be houses that we put on the market that the client is going to be complaining that I wish I never would have bought this house under those terms, because for 7 years we had to do this, we had to fix this, we had to pour money into this. I've talked to people in the past when I first got in the business. They had to spend $30,000 on footers around their house because they bought a lemon, if
right.
you will. And it's so I'm projecting that when the market shifts, whenever that's going to be, thanks to our millennial population buying, and
thank you, millennials, we love you.
We love you, and birthing rates gone up, and
Neuroscience.
In 4, 5, 6 years, whenever we do make that turn, we are going to navigate through these situations of, oh, so now this has to be disclosed because when you bought it with no inspection, and it's a challenge to sell because we were surprised, or not we, you,
Right.
the consumer. So again, when it trends back as buyers, protect yourself with documentation.
Yeah.
So you can have somebody to go back to, and sellers, protect yourself with receipts as well, because if something goes wrong and that buyer moves in that house and says, "Hey, you didn't fix it properly, I'm coming after you," so no, you're not. You're going after this foundation guy.
Yeah.
Because he fixed it. This was his receipt. This is his verbiage.
It is a fine line, and I do agree that down the road there's going to be, it's, again, you go back to communication. As an agent, you have that communication with your buyer, and basically it goes something like this: like, yeah, I don't necessarily recommend not getting an inspection. I said, but here's where the market is right now. People are doing this. If you waive it, that's a contingency that's probably going to weigh really heavy with a seller.
Right.
Same thing on a lower scale, buyer's knowledge only, which is basically saying, hey, we're going to do this inspection, but we're not going to ask you to fix anything, more than likely, right?
Right.
Unless it's something that unforeseen.
Yeah, I just had one, and it's kind of cool. We're going through it right now. That I had the seller, buyer came through, buyer's knowledge only, and they went through, and we were all surprised by a couple of things on there, and it's communication. Yeah, I know it was for buyer's knowledge only, but hey, we want to sell this. You want to buy this? Let's come together and let's get creative. I know what the contract said. I know you didn't have any intent to ask for a repair, and these are legitimate requests.
Yeah.
You're not asking for a GFI or a Titan handrail or some petty things like that to fasten this gutter up because it's not tight. It's a septic situation that's legitimate concern, and we will look into it. Those extra days, we will look into it, evaluate it, see what kind of expense it is, and then we'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So we're not saying we're walking away from the contract, but we're not saying we're moving forward with it either.
Right.
So it's as is, not as is, but for buyer's knowledge only. But there's still surprises, and it's they reserve the right to walk away from the contract. Sure. But wait, let us have an opportunity to fix this.
Yeah,
first.
it doesn't mean you have to walk away from
Correct.
the contract. Life's a negotiation, right?
Communicate.
That's really what it boils down to.
Is that a new word? Communication.
Communication.
It's so failed in society today, and it's so, I don't want to use the word cowards, but there's too many that just are afraid to have a conversation of substance. Not even a difficult conversation, just a conversation.
A good rule that I kind of live by, whether it's in business or even life, if there is a phone call that I want to make,
I'm making it.
I got to make that phone call. It's like, oh, I'm dreading it. You're gonna have to do it. There's no real way around it.
Yes.
That's an uncomfortable feeling sometimes. So, yeah, protect yourselves. Both buyers and sellers have communication. Work with qualified people. As best you can, but also as long as you have that communication and understanding, typically things work out okay. So, today is Tuesday.
Mun Tuesday.
The day after Memorial Day. Memorial Day is the unofficial start of summer. Summer. Right? We can't do that.
Can't even sing.
We cannot do that. He slapped Chris Rock over a joke. And so, but
I'll get it.
One great thing about this Memorial Day, and I've been waiting for this for a year and a half, 2 years. Top Gun 2.
Ooh, did you see it?
No, not yet.
I haven't seen it either.
So, I have a good friend of mine who we love Mav, we love Goose.
Yeah.
The volleyball, the everything about it, right?
Iceman.
And so it's like 2 years ago before COVID, it was like, totally going. We're gonna go see it. Like one of my Halloween costumes, Nicole's and I, a few years ago, was Top Gun pilots. So I have flight suits. So I'm gonna go full on Top Gun regalia, like the Star Wars people. You know, like somebody dressed like Chewbacca.
Dude, let's just go with no shirts and jeans, like the volleyball scene. Let's do it.
And yes, I'm like,
and some aviators.
So
let's go, dude.
So he was out of town this weekend, but that is one. Like we're going. We're getting one drink, 2 straws, 1 bucket of popcorn. We're sharing it. Our aviators, our flight suits,
shirt, jeans,
we're going all
and a volleyball
in. So I don't want any spoilers, but it's out in theaters now. Sounds great. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Alexa, play Highway to the Danger Zone.
Highway to from Top Gun
Danger Zone.
by Kenny Loggins.
Kenny
Yeah, I
Loggins.
saw a lot of Facebook posts that it's fantastic. So it sounds like they nailed it. Sounds like they did a good job with it.
I don't know how it couldn't be after that long of a layoff.
Yeah.
I mean, you could basically just remake the first movie and be like, wow, that's awesome.
Like Coming to America?
Yeah, and just put 2 different, it's like, that's exactly it. So anyway, Memorial Day weekend, we don't really get 3-day weekends so much, but a lot of the world does. How was your Memorial Day weekend? What did you do?
Man, so I didn't get a 3-day weekend. But Memorial Day was good, man. It was I actually got the pressure washer out, got up onto, so we got we got our deck on the back, and then there's like a kick out section, and I got the ladder. I got up there and I'm spraying off the back side of the house with a pressure washer, and there's a huge tree that just hangs over that part of the house. So there's a few branches, and I'm pressure washing, step on a branch, and heart goes away. And
Oh, jeez.
I told Jessica where I was cleaning. She wasn't too happy. She gets really upset when I get on the roof or something like that. She'd say, "You have brittle bones." So so Paige's boyfriend Bailey. She's like, "Have Bailey get up there. He's got young 20-year-old bones. He can make the fall." So Bailey, you got signed up to fall. Well, she was talking about the front of the house, which is architecture. We got some peaks and some elevations that, I mean, they get up there, and I was like, Jessica, if he falls, I don't know that his soft bones are going to help him much. I think we're going to lose Bailey.
It's gonna be a problem.
She's like, no, I've seen people fall from that time all the time, from working in the ER and stuff, and I'm like, no. But anyway,
Is that what you want?
He's good to Paige. Well, not now.
If he's not, Bailey, we're gonna need you to go up on the roof and get the ice off.
Yeah. Paige, you happy? Yeah, Bailey, we need you to yeah. So yeah, I did that, a lot of that yesterday. Sprayed the deck, sprayed the back of the house. Just did that, and because we do what we do for a living. So
Yep.
sometimes we lose our manliness, I guess. And Jessica walks out and I'm covered in just dirt and filth, and she's like, "You look manly today.
Yeah.
Do you feel manly?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I went to give her a kiss, and she was just like, "Ew,
Gross.
It's like, I'm a man, Jess. Come on,
Look at you. I am a man.
hear me roar." So and then we to top that off, fired up the grill. Summit Meats over on the east side in Anderson. Had the sirloins out, and
Unsung hero.
ooh,
Let's go with the boy or girl or employee that cleans up the butcher shop each and every day.
That's a good one. What a bloody mess.
Yes, because without that, you know how if you didn't have that person, how gross that would be.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought of that kind of as
So we had some good steak last night.
what kind? What's the cut?
What was it? I don't know. She gets it all the time. I just cook it. What did she get yesterday?
Was it a fillet?
Filet.
Yes.
Yeah, because you ever
Bacon wrapped or not?
nope.
No.
He went viral for a while, man. His Filet is his name, and he does
Yeah,
like sports
Bobby
highlights. Filet. No, not Bobby Filet. It's he does a lot of basketball highlights, people back steps, and there's like a football. I'll share the video, but the guy that does it and he commentates, and it's just like, comedic role over watching NFL highlights or basketball highlights where somebody puts a move on somebody. He's like, filet! So he'll sing his name into it. It's pretty good. So we were singing that guy's name all day yesterday.
So
we were cooking.
What do you do? So you've got these fillets. I'm assuming they probably look like that,
Filet, yep.
right? Not a lot of fat in a fillet.
Nope.
How do you do it? Do you season it?
Jessica does. I just cook. I just man the grill. She does all of the
Medium,
seasoning,
medium rare.
medium. Like the juiciness. I can't cook it all the way through.
So one thing that I'm a huge fan of, especially since COVID, is the Jeff Ruby meal kits. Have you gotten one of those yet? Great deal, by the way.
Okay.
I mean, it's expensive, but to be able to do it yourself, and then you get the best part of that, because the meal is going to be over at some point.
Yes.
Right? But you get a can of the Jeff Ruby steak seasoning. And I want to say, probably about this time last year, I was watching the news. You know how like you watch the news in the morning and they have certain segments where it's like they'll bring in somebody like to cook something.
Mm-hmm.
This guy just happened to be doing the Jeff Ruby meal kit. He was explaining it like, hey, if you're going to grill out this weekend, we've got these meal kits. I want to say it's like $125, but you get, I think, 2 steaks, big side. You get the seasoning with it, salad, bread. Like, it's a lot. And he literally walked me through how to grill using this Jeff Ruby's seasoning.
Nice.
I'm like, I'm going to try that. And I mean, that's if we run out of that seasoning, get on Amazon, get on whatever, jeffruby.com.
Go get some more.
And go get some more. We'll put it on. What's the hot sauce?
A1 that we put on.
Yeah.
Jeff Ruby.
Except for I don't put it on the Ruby steak.
That's what Audrey, she sat down, we're all cutting into it, and she walks over and grabs A1. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now?
You didn't even taste
Do you just want to come over and spit in my face?
You didn't even taste it. That's my rule. No A1 until you at least taste it.
Yeah, tell your mom you don't love her anymore.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So you got to get it. If you don't have that, you've got to get that. I put it on burgers. Nicole puts it on vegetables, steak. I mean, it's what's the hot sauce? You put that shit on anything?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's what this is. You can put it on anything.
All right. Oh, she had a few concoctions she made up. She made a like a macaroni with like a little garlic in it,
Okay.
and a few different blended up. She crushed it.
No.
I like when she sees something on TikTok and she's like, I'm gonna try it. So she tried it, and
I get a lot of ideas from TikTok.
most of the time she absolutely crushes it, and it's amazing. And how'd you make that? She's like, I don't know. I kind of won it. I'm like, I want it again. She's like, we'll see if it tastes the same.
It's gonna be a little bit different the second time.
Yes, you killed it. So some potatoes and nothing crazy, too overly fancy. So it was good though. It's a good evening, all sitting around as a family, which, you know, with at this pocket of time that we are in life, with Paige being away from school and all their schedules, and the morning started with Grace. She was in West Claremont. We did a Memorial Day parade over on our side of town, so it's like your day starts, that kid's going there, and kids over here, kids over there, and it's just life, man. And then we're all sitting down at a dinner table together, which used to be so norm in our household. And it's just like, oh man, and it's kind of a moment of, we're all here at the house at the same time at the same dinner table, because not everybody's got plans, and it's you just as a parent, you just, I don't know, I would hope all parents stop for a moment and just take all that in. And so that was kind of the highlight of the day, is we were all caught up, everybody did their thing, Jessica was off work, and we as a family sat down and had dinner at the table together.
Yeah.
You know, because obviously we can't do that when she's in Massachusetts, and, you know, it's just, this is awesome. Let's just take it in. And we found out that Audrey's got she's going to Junior Olympics down in Gainesville, and it's Paige, what's your schedule this week? Audrey, Grace, what's your schedule this week? Oh, so now as a family, we can all go kind of an impromptu little vacation at the end of June. So it's like, sweet. So, you know, from this chair, you know, and as much as I'm the family guy and love family, it was, that was kind of the cap of the day, is the dinner time together, and then the conversation that night of, oh, so your schedule works. let's all go to Gainesville. It's like, sweet. And then we're looking at the closest beach, which is Cedar Key, I think it is.
Never heard of that.
Me neither, but it's on the Gulf side, and it's about an hour. So Gainesville's right in the middle. So we can go east, which is the Atlantic side.
So what do you have? You have an hour probably either way.
Hour and 45 or an hour.
Okay.
And the synchro schedule gets kind of weird, so it's, let's get there somewhere in an hour and get back, for a day or whatever. So we're going to go there, and never heard of it.
Yeah.
Like whatever. Little island, looking at pictures, looks cool, and we're not going there for fancy time. Just go dip your toe in the Gulf, see some sand, and come back.
Yep. That's it.
So
that's awesome.
yeah, that was a great day and evening of just pure family time. So enjoyed that.
Good. Yeah, we we kind of filled a little bit of the weekend with some baseball. Not very good baseball.
Oops.
Yeah. Volleyball. Played some volleyball the other night. Of course, right when we get out there,
I did spin the wheel.
Pouring down rain.
Alexa, play "Get Me Home" from Foxy Brown.
Pouring down rain as we play volleyball. Coleraine had their banquet. That was pretty cool. Carson got Rookie of the Year award, which was nice. Didn't realize his grades were that good either. So,
attaboy.
Good job. Did a good job there. So that was fun. Again, did the baseball stuff. Yesterday, actual Monday, Memorial Day Monday, we did go to, not yesterday, but Sunday, we went to Arlington Cemetery here over in Mount Healthy. And they have a Memorial Day flag, like probably thousands of flags out there that are dedicated to veterans, right? And whether they're still living, whether they've passed on. So my father-in-law, who passed away a few years ago, his name was on one of the flags. So we went there, and it was kind of it was all of us. It was all five of us, right? So we're gonna go see Grandpa's flag. You get there, and it's like overwhelming, like the amount of flags. It's like, holy cow, how are we gonna find? Like, if you've not been to that cemetery, it'd be like having to find anything in a cemetery is difficult anyway. But like you're looking, it's like all these flags, like and I'm like I'm the gamer, right? I'm the fun guy. So I'm like, okay, here's the challenge. First one to find Grandpa's flag can pick where lunch is, right? So you walk up there, it's like, and it's just like a little, it's not even, the name like is not even much bigger than this. So it's like, you really got to pay attention, right? So that didn't last very long until Nicole walked up and said, hey, I gave her the name of what she was looking for. It's like, oh, you're in row 4, Bloom. And it was like, we literally walked into the flag and it was like, there it is. It's like, kind of thought you were going to be there for a little bit. It's like, there it is. Get the picture taken with the flag. It was really cool that they did that. It was packed with people. They had a moving display from 9/11. It was a piece of beam from one of the towers.
Oh,
and I mean it was bent up like. Just one of those,
puts it in perspective a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, what bent that?
Yeah, because it's like, the steel beam that's like this big.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, like impactful, right? And then yesterday, we got together with some family and friends. And, I was telling you before, I was like, we really did absolutely nothing. Sometimes those are the best days, right?
Yeah.
You do absolutely nothing. Like, I like sitting out back somewhere or sitting somewhere, give me cold drink and a bag of peanuts, and I'm good. Like I don't need anything else. So they had a pool, and kids were in the pool playing around. I'm sitting there eating peanuts. We had so much food too. Like Nicole made a charcuterie board. I'm a huge charcuterie board fan, right? And so, all the other stuff, and then it's rare that you can play, like especially you get a free moment where it's like, hey, let's play some cornhole. It's like, playing cornhole. I should have worn my cornhole jersey, right?
Jersey.
Like playing cornhole for a while, and Like, we get back, we took a golf cart ride around the neighborhood, and man, I got up this morning, I'm like, I am exhausted. Like, we did nothing. I'm like, whew. Go through my list, like, yep, that's what go back in time, go through my list. Oh, it's Tuesday. Shoot, we're gonna do a show today. I'm like,
Yeah.
I thought it was Monday.
Surprise.
Here
So
we
you said
are.
a cornhole jersey. I know soccer, it's called a kit,
Oh, okay.
and hockey, it's called a sweater.
Okay.
I wonder if cornhole has a different name. If it's just a cornhole shirt, cornhole.
I mean, I would say it's a jersey.
Yeah, just go with jersey. We'll have to dabble into the cornhole world and ask them what they call their
Do you remember
jerseys.
back when the game first came out? You would probably never say we're gonna delve into the cornhole world, ever.
Mm-mm.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, that sounds weird. now it's just common nature. I saw on TikTok, one of the You Betcha guys. He was someplace up north, and they made the world's biggest cornhole board. This thing was giant, and the hole was like, I mean, if he's 6 foot, the board itself was probably 50 yards long.
Whoa.
So the hole in the middle, and then they had basically what it looked like was they didn't make like your cornhole bags. They took like basically giant bags of sand,
Oh my goodness.
like that you would get at like a
You
hardware
put on
store.
like a freaking bulldozer and spin it and just let it fly.
They didn't almost like that. It looked like they had it like a slingshot.
Okay.
So like all you had to do was trip the mechanism, and it took off, and it would go up on the board.
That's cool.
So yeah, it was like the world's. It was huge,
Right.
the world's biggest cornhole board. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. It fun. You can say cornhole now without being weirded out.
Weird. Yeah.
You know, we were on a trip, this many years ago, and we were in Panama City. I was in college, and we brought down. You know how like you get the cornhole boards now that it's all put together or it folds up.
Yeah.
I had never heard of the game before that trip. And they came down with basically 8 boards, right? So you had all 8 boards. You had the back, you had the top, the 2 on the side. And we had to put it together every day. We're putting these boards together. So then we're out on the beach, and we get out there, whatever, 11 o'clock, and having a good time, throwing cornhole, and people would come up to you from all over the country, like, what is that game? I've never seen that before. And then you tell them, like, oh, it's cornhole. What? What is that? It's like, it's called cornhole. I ain't never heard of no dang on cornhole. And I was like,
These
yeah.
bags are made of corn and it goes through a hole.
It's cornhole, right? So,
Here's a synchronicity. The song that we've got is from the Boys of Summer. The Ataris. Ataris.
I have a
Alexa, play Ataris by the Boys of Summer.
The Boys of
Too
Summer
many-
by the Ataris is only available
Oh.
at Amazon Music.
too many.
Oh, so it's backwards.
Here's a station
The song is
based
The
on
Boys of Summer.
Summer.
Whatever.
You said Ataris, and the first thing that came to my mind, I'm like,
The car.
no. I'm like, kids, turn your ears down. But you said Ataris, and I'm like, I bet she can't find it. I'm dirty joke. I'm like, sitting there like, oh, take me back to a Seinfeld episode. Anyway, that's your dark humor for the day. Sorry, that's just right where I went to at that point. So yeah, we did the flag stuff, and typically like Memorial Day weekend, you get all the reports of like, hey, the gas prices, right? Because like that's when the unofficial start of summer, gas prices typically go up.
Yeah.
In the summer. Wow, and they're predicting maybe even as high as $6 per gallon by August. Like that. And I drive a truck with a 25-gallon gas tank in there. And so, filling up, let's just say 20 gallons right there, man, $120. It was 101 earlier this week when I did it.
Man.
And it's going to drive me to an electric car. It's what it's going to do.
100%. And then when you got to replace the battery for $30,000 down the road, swap it out and get a new car. And yeah, it's tough, man. It's a tough time that we're facing in society and in the world, man, with all of these types of things going on. And it's not exclusive to our generation. Every generation in the history of existence has gone through times like this to where you just make adjustments. You figure it out. And we say that all the time on the show. Just figure it out. Like, it's life. It's figure it out. And it's not that, you don't have sympathy or empathetic toward people's situation, but we're all going through it together. And I think we're going to dive into this stuff later of when is that going to be the theme? When is that going to be the conversation of like, hey, guys, we're all in this together. We're all in this one big giant ball floating in space with no strings attached together, figuring this out. Can we do something? Can you quit pushing your agenda and you quit pushing your agenda and you quit highlighting the flaws in that side and you quit highlighting the flaws in that side and nobody's wanting to pick up, we were talking before the show that, a 5-year-old kid can sit out and look at your house and say, hey, it's on fire. Thanks for your observation. Like, we're all burning. Somebody pick up a bucket of water and do something. Like, somewhere along the way, we need more minds like that to where we're just in a society. It's like, well, if I pick up the bucket and help put out this fire, this side is going to think that I'm working with this side now, and they're not going to accept me because they think I'm this side. So I can't even put out a fire now.
Well, so what do we do? We'd be remiss if we obviously didn't bring up the terrible tragedy in Texas, the school shooting last week. And I don't want to say that some of that stuff has become kind of matter of fact.
That's where I got when Jessica and I were talking about it. I was like, you know what? We're as a society, and it makes you sick to your stomach, but we're numb to it. So the Buffalo shooting, it was just like, oh, that sucks. Honey, where are the keys? I'm leaving. My day's going.
Yeah.
And it's just, when something like that so tragic happens, that's where we get. And I think obviously an elementary school shooting, it hits different. But it was nowhere near the impact and shockwave of Sandy Hook collectively in society and just following along on social media, which was depressing because as soon as something like that happens, I think collectively our hearts break. And it's devastating. But the very first word out of someone's idiot mouth is gun control or mental health. It's like, guys, just stop it.
Right away, go to an agenda.
Just stop it. Like, it's we know people with mental health issues that are challenged, with certain things. And it's like, whether it's stress, anxiety, depression, insomnia, or just something that they struggle with, whether it's like a perfectionist, like what is that called, where somebody always has to have the things the right way, the same way, the routine. I'm drawing a blank here, but there's so many different types of things that way we function mentally. Dyslexia, so many things, right? And so for the idiots on that side of the aisle that want to blame mental health, now you got this kid that's dyslexic who's trying to figure out mentally how to function in this world. Now they're automatically affiliated to a kid shooting up a school.
Right.
So that's not fair to them. And you got people that legitimately have anxiety things that they're navigating through with life, and when moments rise up on them, they're coping with that and they're trying to navigate through that. And because you're going to throw mental health around like it's freaking apple pies on day, like, hey, mental health for everybody. Mm-hmm. Now that person is linked with shooting up schools, and it's like, and we used to have the terminology postal. You're going to go postal. Yeah. If somebody's having a bad day, you're going to go postal. It's like, man, we got to be careful with the language we use. And I'm not sensitive, but at the same time, we got to pay attention to who we're putting in this pool together of mental health and shootings. It's like, man, I struggle from anxiety, right? I'm not going to shoot up a school. Quit putting me in a category.
Right.
So now it's like just to have a something you're struggling with as a human being, which all human beings have anxiety at some form or various levels. Why does that person? And then the other side of the aisle, their idiot comments are gun control, gun control, gun control, gun control. It's like, guys, just stop. Just stop with your hate on gun control. Stop on mental health issues. Let's get back. And this is the other thing that really hit home is I love my family. I love the time that we spend together. I love the challenging times as being a parent when you just lose your mind because you don't know the right decisions to make at the right time. Yeah, I love those types of things, but why don't we talk about family? Why is that not the most important topic we have in society today? And we talked about abortion last week, and I'm a few steps before that. I don't even really get into that conversation because it's, what does sex mean to you? Let's have that conversation first, and then the conversation will evolve into where we stand on this topic. But when it comes to school shootings and stuff like that, it's like, all right, let's talk about family. Let's talk about home values first. Let's talk about people that you're closely related to and connected to on a regular basis. What do relationships mean to you? What does mom mean to you? What does dad mean to you? What does a brother mean to you? What do these titles mean to you when it comes to living in a society with other people? Then we can evolve that conversation into gun shooting. Is it a mental health issue? I don't know. So I was talking to a teacher, and this is a sad story. It kind of broke my heart. She's leaving school after a full events, things going on all day. This was like 7 o'clock in the evening, and she sees a kid on campus, says, "Hey, do you have a ride home?" "No." "Well, can you call your parents?" "I don't have a phone." "Do you want to use mine?" "I don't know their numbers." Oh, man, which all understandable to this point, right? Because how many numbers do we know anymore? Because they're all just saved, right? So it's like, oh, that kind of sucks, man. She observes an ankle bracelet on this kid. Said, "Does your parole officer know where you are?" She's like, "Probably." And then within this time frame, about 3 minutes later, parole officer shows up, says, "Hey, we've got some reports that you're out doing things. Your mom called us and said you're at this place getting into this trouble." She said, "Huh? I'm right here in front of your face, parole officer. How can I possibly be out causing damage to this house when I'm right here?" He's like, "I'm confused as well." Because when he showed up, he was kind of in a panic. He gets there, and she's like, on your device, you can tell me where I've been all day. And he's like, "Yeah, you've been here the whole day." So, going with that, and back to the family avenue of all this, you've got a kid that has an ankle bracelet on school. I'm going to guarantee that there's kids at school that see that and say that and make comments on that. Like, "Oh, this kid's got an ankle bracelet. They are." And then they throw in the label that we have to do as a society for some reason. So is she getting bullied at school? I don't know. Is she accepted by all groups at school? Probably not. And then she goes home to a family like that. And we're going to ask the question of, why do schools get shot up? That's no excuse to shoot up a school, but there's no mental health issues in there. There's a broken home. There's a kid that's like, "Hey, my parents are divorced. I feel like a burden to my mom. I feel like a burden to my dad. I go to school. People highlight my ankle bracelet, so I feel like a burden to them." And it's just, as humans, we figure out a way to navigate through this life. And sometimes your self-defense is aggression, or it is what it is, that we all have these coping mechanisms. But what's a kid like that supposed to do? And then you got your left and right aisle saying it's a mental health issue and you need more gun control and this and that and that. No, we need to observe and say, hey, why did your parents get divorced in the first place? What's going on? Why did they have kids out of wedlock? And yeah, I'm highlighting these things because I think it's something we need to evaluate and bring into our society as, you know what? It's okay to be married.
Well, but you hit on, in terms of this particular circumstance, you're looking at the root, right, of whatever issue it is.
Right.
It starts somewhere, right? The problem with society today is we are such an Amazon society. Like,
It's a good word.
I need something, I want it now. Nobody's happy about the school shootings. We want it fixed. You call Amazon, have them deliver whatever that fix particularly is. It's just not going to happen.
Correct.
Overnight, right? And so you've got both sides, and I saw it pop up on here too, and it said basically exactly what we had talked about before, is both sides politicians, after every single tragedy, go right to politics.
Yes. They go,
Yes. Like right away.
And it's, go ahead.
You see it, and then you see the impact of what happened. And then, obviously you want to dig deep and investigate, like, okay, how did this happen? One, how did this happen? How can we prevent it? Not only here, but how can we prevent it someplace else? What changes? What can we do, right?
It's not adding guns. It's not securing the schools. It's not adding guards to the school. I don't think. I don't think those are solutions to. And if it is a solution, why is that the solution? Why is it like, hey, to protect the school, we need to have armed guards? We need to have. Are you kidding me? We need to have armed guards at a school. If that's the solution, then we need to, again, go a step before and say, why is society so broken right now that our kids have to have armed guards at school? Why can't they just go to school?
Okay,
So don't even let it get there. But we are here. So right now, I think we should have armed guards at school.
There's got to be something.
And then we need to say, hey, now we've got, and we've talked about it before. It's, to secure peace, you have to prepare for war. So if I got a big gun aimed at somebody, they're going to behave. So if we got armed guards at school, the chances of this happening are slim. It's like, okay, so we've got this under control. Now let's really look into family values in this nation, and what can we do to help the lack of, or create a lack of the instant gratification, the Amazon world.
Yeah.
Like, I just buy it on Amazon. No. Let's relationships grow and cultivate and mature.
So I think you have, it's kind of twofold, right? So it's you're going to, doctors give medicine to treat the symptoms, right? In the meantime, you have scientists that are working in the background trying to figure out how to eliminate whatever it is that's causing those symptoms.
Right.
Right. So here we are right now. What do we do? Right. And you can get into all kinds of brainstorming ideas, and we're not going to get into those. But my issue is, it's the, not just politicians, but it is they immediately go to their agenda, their self-promotion. We had an instance last week at Cole's graduation. A fight broke out. There was a family fight, right? Nowadays, you catch everything is pretty much on video. Somebody gets it on video,
yeah.
Right? It was dealt with. It was handled. But immediately, you have somebody, I won't name any names, but somebody who was out there who portrayed himself as a steward of the community and trying to make the community better. Well, he goes out there and puts out a video together, self-promotion, right? Self-promotion, look at me, look at me, look at me, of this Jerry Springer type fight video to make, hey, let's make everybody laugh. And then is that helping any type of perception, right? A lot of times perception, it is reality in a lot of ways,
Very
right?
much.
So if you're out there, you're a steward of the community, and you're going to put this out there, I first would ask, why?
100%.
What exactly does anybody in the community gain by seeing this? No, what you do is you have increased any type of negative perception about our community.
Yes.
For who? For you, because all you want people to do is more clicks, more clicks, more clicks. Look at me, look at me, look at me. And that's all you're about. That is all you're about. And it's not just this instance. It's been every instance. Look at me, look at me, look at me. I want to be a celebrity. Anybody can be a celebrity. Anybody can.
Yeah.
Celebrity isn't somebody that is of importance. That's not what celebrity is. That's not making a difference. You're not making a difference. You're out there self-promoting.
100%. And on these types of topics, we all know that we have a very charged up opinion on either side of this aisle. And in that case, it's, you're dealing with a charged community over this event, and you pander to that energy. Again, you ask a question. It's like, is that the follower you want? A charged up, angry person, not a sensible person, just someone that's furious about what's going on in our school system. Is that who you want following you, or do you want the level-headed and pander to, hey guys, let's come up. It sucks that this happened. Let's come up with a solution. No, this person, and I didn't see the video. I don't know anything about it. It's kind of news to me, but hey, let's pander to these people that are charged up over this and get them on my side.
Right.
Why do you want them on your side?
And that's
that speaks to your character.
And what happens with social media? Something like that gets out, it gets shared, it gets reshared, it goes, goes viral, whatever you want to call it, right? And that perception now has went from one tiny guy said, "Hey, look at me," to now all of a sudden, now you've got everybody's attention right now, right?
Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, go ahead.
And so using that platform to basically lie and throw your own name out there.
Yeah.
And I immediately, when, we get a lot of this, because of what Nicole does, I get a lot of information just in terms of, she's my wife. We talk about a lot of things, advice, so on, whatever, both ways. And so when I saw this and that you see people sharing it, I'm like, the issue, yes, it partly is the video, right? And that type of stuff, talking about fights, like it happens.
Every school.
Yes.
In the world.
Yes. And so I immediately went to, as people are sharing this, I'm like, well, they're not helping either.
No, it's counterproductive,
Everybody wants to bitch and moan and complain about what is going on, right? And again, that instant gratification, that Amazon, oh, we've got this problem. And I went immediately to, President John F. Kennedy. His famous words were, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. And if you look at that, like, if there were more people that said, hey, what can I do for my community, instead of what is my community doing for me?
And what sucks for, again, I don't know this person that you're talking of, but politicians in general, what sucks is their takes are so twisted that they feel them highlighting the flaws of somebody else is them doing something for their community.
Right.
And it's so counterproductive, because it's like, hey, I'm a signature in this community, but I'm going to blast corruption in this community. Okay, so what do people in where I'm from say? Did you see what happened in Coleraine again? Did you see what happened in Coleraine again? Glad I moved out of Coleraine again. And then you're sitting here in Coleraine like, guys, that's just going to happen everywhere on the planet. Right. Like, quit it. You're trying to look good, but in the meantime, you're making our community look terrible. Mm-hmm. Like, just take the video down, talk to the people that were involved, find something out, and are there preventative measures that could have prevented this from happening? In that case, and again, I don't know any of the details, but just knowing kids, knowing people, it's going to happen. And guys, it is what it is. Let's put focus on family values.
Yeah.
I'm going to wear that out for a long time. My 3 daughters, they understand where I stand on marriage. Like, it is significant. It is a keystone. It is a cornerstone. And the strength of the family is in the marriage. And the strength of the community is in the families. Period. That's it. So if you have a good community, you're going to have good families. You're going to have good families, you're going to have a good marriage. Period. And those are like insulting things to talk about, and we're not allowed to talk about those things because, oh, Quentin, you can't talk about having a good, strong, healthy marriage because that couple, they got divorced, and you're going to make them feel bad. You're going to make the kids feel, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't either.
I you know what? Make better decisions. In my classic thing that we used to say around the house all the time, and the girls, if you don't want to be judged, live a better life. Yeah. That's all I got for you.
Pretty black and white.
Yeah. If you have a guilty conscience over what you're doing, don't do it. Yeah. Figure out a way. Change it.
Your situation can always be improved.
You judging me? I don't know. Maybe. Get better.
Usually when somebody says, are you judging me? Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And so is everybody else.
Yeah. I'm just telling you.
And then you got the scapegoat of people like,
communicating.
I don't care what people think.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Why are you getting so pissed off about what
Correct.
people think?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's exactly right.
So the shooting,
it's terrible.
Breaks your heart, man. I don't know. No, yes, I do know the solution, and I think we all know the solution. But it's not. I love your analogy, man, and I'm adopting it if that's okay with you. The Amazon world. Mm-hmm. You can't get on Amazon and fix a cure to this. You can't buy something to fix this. Like it's something that you have to cultivate. It's going to take time. You know, Jess, we've had plenty of bickering matches in our marriage. We've had plenty of standstills and frustration. But dang it, you know, here we are almost 20 years later, and we've got structure and stability, and we know that when times get tough, we've got each other. You know, and that's part of growing. I'm sure you and Nicole was like, hey, you know, you get on my nerves, I get on your nerves. I mean, that's what you do in a marriage.
Right.
You figure it out because you love them enough to figure it out. And the kids see that. Kids see mom and dad arguing. Kids see mom and dad hugging and kissing. Oh, so there was a problem. How'd they fix it? Communication. Problem solved.
Dad slept on the couch. Mom hasn't talked to him in 2 weeks. Seems fine to me.
Dad, why are you moving out? Mom, why are you moving out? Is it my fault? Oh, crap. No, because I'm so freaking full of pride that I've got to force my own agenda that I broke our marriage. Oh, well, maybe be selfless more, Dad, Mom, somebody. I don't know. We can go on and on about that forever, but that is my take on the school shooting. And sure, for now, let's get armed guards in schools.
Yeah, let's do something.
As much as it breaks my heart to even think that we have to do that, I think we have to.
Yeah, and if you look at and again, we'll kind of wrap this portion of it up, but if you look at kind of, I was listening to the press briefing the other day, where they were kind of explaining the timeline and kind of what had happened. Yeah. And it was odd, I'm not going to lie, and you could sit there and you can judge whoever it is you're going to judge, and a lot of it is kind of just odd timing of everything.
And this one's all odd. Everything's about it's just odd.
Yeah, it is. It's, you know, from the point that's like they usually all the doors were locked, you know, exit only basically, to where I guess a particular teacher there was one door that she had propped open.
Right.
This particular person finds that one door, right? Yeah. You know, you had cops that were there that apparently they had actually passed this guy going, like, it was like, I think there was a lot of things and nobody really knew at any time what the heck was going on.
And why should we think that?
Right.
As a society, why should we think, hey, this kid's going to go shoot up an elementary?
But also, it's that other mentality of, oh, that can't happen here.
Oh, right? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And then until it does.
Correct.
And so it's intriguing. I think there'll be more based on that. It's terrible. I felt that when I saw the numbers, I'm like, holy cow. You know,
the Texas Rangers got involved because the police, and it's just pointing fingers. The teacher shouldn't have done this. The teacher shouldn't have done that. The parents shouldn't have done this. I heard there were parents like arrested for like trying to get involved, and like it's at every level of the somebody. No one is saying it's my fault or it's our fault or hey, we should have done something different. It's well, they did this, well, they did that, well, they did this, well, they did that, and there's no accountability of self anywhere on this. And then which leads me to my thought process of why doesn't the police chief just come out and say, hey, you know what? Sorry that I'm not prepared for a school to get shot up. Sorry we don't have a smooth, seamless system in place for schools getting shot up. Did the ball get dropped? Sure. But
obviously,
why should we have to prepare for a school to be shot up? So the community is going to blame the police chief for it. Now, wait a second, community. Are you going to take any ownership in this? Hey, Mr. Everyday guy that lives your normal life. Are you going to take any ownership on the way you live your life and interact with other people? Yeah, I'm putting ownership on everybody. Do good, be good. Mm-hmm. You know, sorry, I'm not prepared for my schools to get shot up. Sorry, I left this door open just to get a cool breeze in here because it's hot in the school.
Right.
I can't even do that. Like, and everybody's going to blame gun control, mental health, this and that. No, guys, I left the door open to get a cool breeze. Sorry, I'm not thinking that my school's going to get shot up. Well, she should have thought that.
Yeah, right.
So we need to live with that burden constantly? Like, we just need to suffocate ourselves with the anger and the hate in the world. No. Tell somebody you love them. Tell somebody you care about them. Tell somebody thank you. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, sir. Have classic things that we were brought up on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring those back and say, we made a comment earlier, in the 70s, kids would go to school with their pickup trucks and guns and their gun racks in the back window because it was okay to be on a school campus.
Right.
And those kids said, yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, sir. They lived life. That they had values at home. They had values in their relationships. They understood what friendship meant. They understood what being a brother meant, what a sister meant, what a father meant. They understood the significance of the titles that we put out here. And today we just don't. There's an absolute disobedience to any type of authority. Defund the police, all those things,
Yeah.
man. I could go, every structure of authority is being undermined and undercut. And then we got the top of the whole food chain is our political system doing the same thing, hating each other. And what type of society do you expect to develop when we'll call the left and the right mom and dad, when mom and dad constantly fight?
Yeah, it's
I don't know. Rant over. Soapbox done.
no, it's there's no quick easy fix for this. And I'm sure there's
Amazon Prime ain't fixing this one.
no.
I
I'm
love
sure.
that analogy.
I'm sure there is blame, like you said, on every level of that cake.
Right.
There's blame somewhere. But in the same sense, people are out living their lives expecting. Basically, it's almost like every day to an extent. It's like, hey, I've got a routine. It's Groundhog Day. I'm going to work. I'm doing this, and then like nobody expects anything different to happen when you're just living your life day by day by day.
How many days has that teacher left that door open?
Right.
Probably every one of them.
Right.
Except wintertime. It's Texas, so every day.
Yeah, and so it's the whole thing's weird, terrible, but just the timeline, everything about it, just it's difficult to understand.
Yeah. Another thing that just drives me nuts is these police should be trained differently. It's like, hold on, again, like I can't compute that thought process of why is it that the police need to be trained differently? Why don't society hold themselves to a better standard? Like, why does this cop need to be trained in this area? Why can't society say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to create an environment that's going to go shoot at school. So that's an area that our police don't need to be trained on. Like, when is society going to take accountability on it? So which breaks all the way down to the individual.
It's also treating the symptom, right? Because it is here.
Right.
Right.
It is, yes.
It's here.
Yes, and I don't
happening.
think we can ignore that. You're correct.
So it's kind of chicken or the egg, right? It's here.
Yep.
We've got to do something about it. In the same sense,
Got a broken arm, you got to cast it up. It'll
how
heal.
can we fix it long term? Be better people. That's it sounds easy, but it's really hard, right?
Yeah.
On a different note, we were watching the news before we started, and we started talking. We saw a headline that came across. Apparently, I didn't even see where, but the Mona Lisa. Everybody knows the famous painting, the Mona Lisa, right? Somebody, I guess, during some demonstration, threw cake at the Mona Lisa. Thankfully, the Mona Lisa was not injured during this said demonstration.
So my knee-jerk thought was the value that we as people put on material things, like the Mona Lisa. Like, I'm not discrediting. I think it's such a signature thing across the world, but like if that were to get burned in a fire or damaged or lost or something, it's like man, it's withstood the test of time. It's been around so long, everybody knows it, and to see it damaged, just like man, wow, that kind of sucks. But at the end of the day, like. It's material. Like, what is it?
So I go another route with
and
that.
then you went another route, which made me laugh.
So I said, one, yes, it's withstood the test of time, and it's unique, right? If there's only one of its kind.
Yes, and I said,
or is it?
Was that the real Mona Lisa?
Right,
was
that's
that
where I was
fake?
going. or again, Alexa, who painted the Mona Lisa?
Leonardo.
It was painted by Leonardo.
Alexa, stop. So, who's to say? I mean, I've, but I've made some drawings. Tried to draw stuff. Matter of fact, this is pretty much my best work of art right here. That's my best work of art. And you can see it's great.
This is an original.
That's
this
an original.
Is a one of a kind.
This is authentic, right? Yeah. That I can tell you, there is not one more.
So how do we go about getting this authenticated?
It's got. Should I put my signature at the bottom of it? But like, how many drafts of the Mona Lisa did Leonardo do? Are we sure? Is the actual finished product? What if somebody came by and said, "Hey, I have the first Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
And it's not complete. Maybe it's not painted. Maybe it's missing something."
I've got the bootleg version of the Mona Lisa.
Yeah. Like, I printed this off my copier. It looks a lot like it. But somebody might be sitting on, 3 or 4 different drafts of, hey, Leonardo did these first to come up with this, right? So they have this thing, and there's people of all types of walks of life and things that basically can look at whether it's a signed baseball, whether it's a Mona Lisa, that they give it a certificate of authenticity. And I go, who the hell do you are? Like, how are you qualified to tell me that Joey Votto baseball is actually Joey Votto's signature?
Right.
Or that Mona Lisa is the real Mona Lisa. Is it? I always laugh. I'm like, certificate of authenticity.
From 1503.
Right.
I just put the date when it was painted because I knew around, but.
So, I mean, you could even go, like,
and forging these days is unbelievable. There was a show, and I don't know why I watched it. I didn't even make it all the way through, so I don't have your mentality of have to finish it. It was something about some paint studio where all these things were forged, and you're talking about $1 million, $100,000, $500,000 paintings that were forged. And I'm just like, whoa. How do we know if the Mona Lisa has been, like, because the forgery on these things are unbelievable.
So there was a movie, it was recent too. It had The Rock, Ryan Reynolds, and
Yeah.
Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
It was on
Red Note, what is it?
Yes,
Yeah.
whatever that is. Where they were like basically, there's a lot of twists and turns. Like it's meant to be funny.
Yeah, and it was good.
Yeah, and like they were art thieves, and they would steal whatever works of art, take them to the black market, sell them, make their money, move on to whatever their next project is. Like, if that's happening in the movies, darn well, like, somebody's coming up with a scheme or a scam to try to get the Mona Lisa or whatever, right?
And then if you have the Mona Lisa,
what do you do with it?
Who do you sell that to?
I don't know. I mean, it's not like
you hold it for ransom?
Hey, man, like, look what I got. I got this Mona Lisa. What do you give me for it?
Sweet, bro.
Yeah. Huh. Like, how do you liquidate?
Am I going to show anybody that I got it?
You know what? I'm gonna Venmo you $48 billion for the Mona Lisa.
Sweet.
Yeah. Thanks. Here it is. How do you want? You know what? I'm gonna send it UPS your way. Here's the Mona Lisa.
I don't know.
Or what if the Mona Lisa's in the trunk of your car, and you get in a car accident? It's like insurance. Well, what did you have in your car? Well,
it's the Mona Lisa.
I had, an old tire, my softball gear.
I'm going to call my insurance guy and say, hey,
the Mona Lisa.
in case my house burns down, I do have the Mona Lisa.
Yeah, I have the actual Mona Lisa.
Yeah, so
Somebody gave me
how we're going to insure that.
Somebody gave me a certificate of authenticity.
And then back to, like, why throw cake on it? Like, for the argument of, like, why do we put so much into material things and value in them? Like, why? Why? What motivated someone to put cake on the Mona Lisa?
I've been mad for 500 years about that painting.
Stop looking at me.
And what type of cake was it? And was it in that type of cake? Can we save that cake and say this cake is authentic because it was the same cake that was thrown at the Mona Lisa?
Ooh. I've got cake special to tell you from the Mona Lisa.
That's it. It's some things, and it's like even I was a big baseball card collector growing up, and like if you had a good card, you could go and look at the whatever the book that was out there. You could go and look and say, oh, this card is worth whatever $20 or 5 cents. We would take baseball cards up to Fawn Nut and Candy in the mall.
Ah, yeah.
And we really just want to get a pretzel. All right, well, let's get like 10 baseball cards together and we'll take them up and like go up there and like, what do you give me for these? And we're like 10, 11 years old. Like, we have no idea what these cards are worth. We're just trying to get $3 so we can walk down to Hot Sam's, get the pretzel, and or go.
Auntie Anne's.
Yeah.
I remember Hot Sam's.
Hot
That was
Sam's.
a good one. That was a good one.
Hot Sam's was there. Gold Star Chili was down there before they had the food court. They had ashtrays in the mall because you could smoke in the little. They had the lounge areas that were down below.
Oh.
Like, people just, can you imagine like just walking down the mall, like people like, can you imagine? I can't even think back of how smoky those places.
It was awful. I hated smoke. Going into restaurants, smoking or non. Oh, yeah, just awful.
So anyway, that's my rant on the Mona Lisa and certificates of authenticity. Now you brought up shows and you were watching a show. So I've got an update. We used to do shows of the week, right? And so I'm at this point now where I am a little bit short on finding shows.
I'm going to interrupt you. You were talking about Northman. Did you watch that?
I did not see it.
Okay, because we were talking about Top Gun. That popped in my head to have that conversation, and I got to call Jessica, wake her up. Okay, cool.
Hi, Jess. Watch your language. You're live and on the air.
But Jessica and I we were flipping through something to watch last night. We saw it come up, Northman. It was like, ooh, our fascination with Vikings. It looks terrible. It looks cheesy acting. It just looks bad. We watched the trailer and I was like, it's like a spin-off of The Last Kingdom with Uhtred and a Viking. It's this Anglo-Saxon
It's a
kid.
spin-off?
I don't know. I don't know that they're the same names, but it's so this kid. The trailer shows a kid's dad getting shot or arrowed, killed, and then he loses his kingdom and he goes out and he's raised amongst the Vikings and
It's the same.
like that's Uhtred. Like what is this all about? But the acting looked terrible. Nicole Kidman's in it. Not discredit. I'm sure she's a great actress. I don't know, whatever. But
Days of Thunder.
yeah, like I'm just like what. She was like, "Do you want to buy it?" And I was like, "I don't think so. Like, I'll wait till it comes out free because the acting looked terrible."
Yeah.
So, but I remember last week you mentioned Northman when we were talking about some Vikings, and I just didn't know if you saw it or
A
not.
friend of mine saw it in the theater and he didn't care for it.
Good.
Yeah. So
Confirmation.
saved you some money.
Yeah, I've got an eye for talent with my Vikings.
Yeah, I can tell when a Viking is authentic or not.
Yes. You fake Viking.
Fake. You're not a Viking. You're a Swede. So, anyway, I'm at this point where, like, I would attempt a new show. Not that I have a whole lot of time, but like I don't really know what to attempt. So, like, I was kind of in this like period of like I don't know what to watch, and we talked about things a lot in regards to like shows that you've watched or vice versa, and I'm like, okay. The second half of Billions was out there. Like the second half of which I finished Billions. Ozark we watched together. That's one of those relationship things. Like you don't want to watch that without one.
Yeah.
So you have those shows that you're not seeing. So I was like, okay, what else is out there? And then I went to Amazon Prime and like I was watching the show Ghosts. Remember you brought it up?
Friggin' hilarious.
And I'm like, it took me a little bit.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, it was kind of like a little bit of Schitt's Creek-ish.
Yeah.
It was like, there was nothing in there that was like belly laugh, but there was a lot of like
That's funny.
like irony,
Yes.
like fun, and I almost texted you. The Viking in that
Is brilliant.
is the best Viking ever.
Yes.
Best Viking ever. Thor not talk about feelings. When he goes back in time and he's like, "How did you get?" And it's like the writing is really, really well done. Too.
Yes.
Because like they all watched each other. Like they all watched each other die
Yes.
at some point, and then when they died, they got to know each other. And like Thor's out in the woods and gets struck by lightning. Thor not think good idea to wear metal helmet. And they dig him up. Like, oh, we found remains. Who is it? Well, that's me. It's so just goofy. So I liked it. The second season, I'll be interested to see when that comes out.
Yeah, so it's a spin-off on HBO. They have a Ghost, and it's over in like London, United Kingdom, somewhere that they do it. And Jessica tried to watch it. We got through like an episode and a half, and it was like, nah,
Not the same.
not the same.
Yeah. It's so the premise, we'll go over it again, is basically this couple, married couple, they inherit a giant Victorian mansion,
Yeah,
and they weren't sure if they really want to sell it, do something with it. They come up with this idea: we're going to turn it into a bed and breakfast. The lady falls down. You see the ghosts in there. They're talking, but no, the livings
yes,
can't hear them or see them. So the woman living gets knocked down the stairs, hits her head, goes to the hospital, gets diagnosed with what, not diagnosed, basically her life changes because now she can see and hear the ghost.
yes.
However, her husband cannot. So they all get to know each other, and she has to explain the ghost to the husband and talk back and forth, blah, 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 blah. Dumbest storyline on the planet. But sometimes the dumber things are, the better.
Yes.
Because it was the writing I thought was
Like
great.
they all have their own abilities. Like the one can walk through somebody and you smell his fart and it smells terrible. They can mess with electric, and the guy with no pants. Just yeah, the all creative.
And then when they die, yeah, that's the other thing. When they die,
arrow in his neck.
they die looking just like when they died.
Yeah.
So you have the cholera people that all look terrible living down in the basement.
Oh,
They've all got open wounds and sores. You've got the guy with no pants. You've got the Boy Scout leader that's got the arrow through his heart or through his neck. It's so dumb, but it's funny. So
yes.
if you haven't checked that out, so I'm done with that season. So I'm kind of in between looking for something to fill that time. But next week, the next season of The Boys.
Ooh, I saw
is
that
out.
on Amazon. Yeah, I
Mhm.
saw that. We enjoy that. So superheroes that are not.
They're not super.
Yeah, our politicians today in America,
They have
corrupt.
powers.
Yeah,
They don't use them for.
not for good. No. Jessica and I were watching. I think it's on HBO. I can't remember. George Carlin documentary, the comedian, and it's fantastic because you watch his life grow and kind of how he conformed to, what the popular comedians do, and him trying to find his own identity. And I didn't know his history of obviously we weren't around in the 60s and like the ups and downs and the times he did on TV shows and before he became the George Carlin of who we know him today.
Mm-hmm.
But man, he conformed. He played the role to make the crowd happy, and the whole time he's like, "This isn't me. This isn't me. This isn't me." And then he really came out of his shell, and he got as controversial as he is. And it's neat to watch him go through and hear about him because I love comedy. I love comedians.
Yeah.
I love the skill set. I love what they have to say. Whether I agree or disagree, it's just when you can put certain things in life into that light, it's like, good for you, man. I disagree with it, but
I like
good for you. And George Carlin's one of those guys, and he's a freaking master at comedy. But all of his topics that he was talking about in the 60s and 70s are still the exact same thing we're talking about today. And it's just like, when we get into like the people that think things that are going on in society today are exclusive to us, no, they're not. It's since Adam and Eve to today, the same. The human heart struggles with the same stuff. And George Carlin's talking about our corrupt government then. What are we talking about now? Now, corrupt government. 50 years, same conversations.
I think comedians are the best storytellers
100%.
because they can take everyday life and turn it into that story, that irony of whatever it is. Like I'm like you, like there was a point in my life where it's like it's kind of one of those bucket list type items. Whereas like I would love to try stand up. I don't know what I would say or what I would come up with.
I went to a little coffee shop, man. I saw this dude on an open mic night, and I walk in, I'm getting my coffee, and I'm sitting there waiting, and it was kind of slow, which generally that annoys me when there's not a sense of urgency because I'm the old grumpy old man. But this night I appreciated it because I was watching this dude on open mic night absolutely bomb. Oh, it was awful. And I'm watching this kid. And I say kid, young 20s. I'm like, oh, poor dude, just stop. Just stop. Like this is, like it hurt to watch this guy. And the room just be utter silent. And you see him like, you could tell he's sweating, like needs to drink water. It was just like, but the thing I thought is what you just thought, like, would I do any better?
Right.
It's funny to me.
Right. That's my point. Like
It's like,
Poor funny.
kudos to you for being up there, for braving it. So thinking of that and thinking of George Carlin, because George Carlin used to bomb.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's one of the greatest comedians ever. But it's like, I hope you become the next George Carlin, dude, because you are awful.
Awful. It takes a lot of guts.
Yes.
You've got heart, kid. You've got heart. That's about all you got.
So
Try getting some jokes.
So what would you talk about?
It would probably just be like a lot of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, just irony. Hey, this happened. It's like, I don't know. I'm sure it wouldn't be fun. I'm sure I'd be miserable at it, but it seems cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I heard, I think it was George Carlin show or something else. They're talking about comedians today, the philosophers of the olden day.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a philosopher anymore. That's not a thing in our society today. But the people that make us think now on those types of levels, they are our comedians.
I believe it.
When they say those jokes that you're just like, should I be laughing at this?
Yeah.
You're thinking. They moved your thoughts to a whole nother stratosphere. And I think that's what comedians are good at. And whether they do it in an elegant, beautiful, silver-tongued manner or in a comedic manner, it doesn't matter. You're thinking.
Right.
Don't
like share feelings.
Well said.
Anyway, we usually would do sports. We really don't have a lot of sports type stuff right now.
Reds are on a roll.
They are.
Ish. Sorta.
Until they're not.
Until then,
Well,
we got the red legs at right now.
Oh, here's a red story. Did you see the story about Tommy Pham slapping Jock Peterson Will Smith style?
Yeah.
I really want to know what that was about. I know the story says apparently I'm in a fantasy football league. I like all the dudes that are in the fantasy football league.
Right.
We talk a little garbage, whatever. Yet, I have not wanted to smack any of them.
Nah.
So I want to know. I want to know what was said. Mind you, fantasy football was what, 6 months ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what was said 6 months ago that you said, man, the first time I see Jock Peterson, I'm going to slap the taste out of his mouth, Will Smith style. Like, how bad was it? What did he say? Like, I want to know what he said. I want to know what the text was. And the other part of me is like, just like Will Smith. You slapped him. Like I didn't see it. I didn't watch the video. Like, was it a backhand slap? Was it open hand? Like, challenge him to a duel? Like, did you take your batting glove? Like, I challenge you to a duel.
Yes.
That.
Kansas City Royals, man, 16-31. Cincinnati Reds, 16-31. So they are no longer the worst team. And I guess they still are, but they
keep climbing.
They have a cellar dweller with them. Dropped 20 on my Cubs. What on earth? So
that was awesome, by the way. I was watching that game.
I saw someone, and I posted it on our page, that it was the first time since 1896 that someone that had the worst record in baseball in the first 30 games scored 20 runs. Where does these stats come from? Who looked that up? That's my unsung hero today.
Certificate?
Who looked that up? Like, man, they scored 20 runs, and they got the worst record in baseball in 30 games. When's the last time that happened? Who cares?
Who knows? How do you look that up?
He found it, 1896.
Microsoft Access. Run yourself a little query. Plug those numbers in. Ask your smartphone.
I just see him get like a big book out.
Yeah. Yeah. Go down here. Certain situations. There's a graph. On the right. This. That. There's bar charts.
So let's filter down to every 20-run game in history. All of them.
How did they fit in? What was awesome about that was, I was watching it.
Nothing was awesome about that, Tom. Nothing.
I love when a random position player goes into pitch. I think
it's when Mark Grace did it.
Yeah. Pujols did it.
Yeah. Freeman? No, Rizzo. Pitched to Freeman.
Simmons did it for the Cubs, and he came out. His first pitch was 45 miles an hour. 45.
Gas.
That guy got a hit. The next batter was Kyle Farmer. 45 miles an hour again, and he swung and missed at it. And, like, the look on the pitcher's face, the batter's face, and the catcher's face of they all were just smiling and laughing. Like, I know you're gonna get me, but I made you swing and miss. I mean, it was like, when I say it was like, had a nice little on it and everything. Like, it was a looping. I'm like,
yeah, they are funny to watch.
Like, you got to generate all the power out of this guy for sure. So,
Women's College World Series is still going on for softball, which absolutely captivates our time and around our house, man. And big shout out to Northwestern. So when Paige first got into softball, there was a girl on our team, Allie Lewis. Her older sister is Rachel Lewis. She plays for Northwestern. She is the Big Ten Player of the Year. She's got the Northwestern home run record. So, I'm texting her dad back and forth, and Paige has played in games against her, and she used to come around and play with because she was the bigger sister, so she'd come down and play with Grace and Audrey when they were little, and it's just so cool to see someone at that age develop into this freaking mega star for the sport. So we were watching that, and it was one of the better. So the breakdown of the Women's College World Series and the Men's World Series for baseball, it's a little different from basketball, where it's just one game and you break on. You got your pods of 4. Whoever wins that round robin of 4, they go on to what's called a super regional. Your Sweet 16, and then you got the best of 3, and then they move into the College World Series bracket of the best 8 teams, and that's your World Series field is the Elite 8. So in the super regionals, which is the Sweet 16, they played Arizona State, which is powerhouse in the sport, and game 1 went 11 innings. So the Northwestern was down 3-0 going into the 6th inning. Rachel hit a 2-run bomb, and then they come around in the 7th inning with 2 outs. Girl hits a solo shot, make it 3-3, and then they go on and play 11 innings where Northwestern ended up winning game 1. Game 2, same scenario happened. Arizona State's out front most of the game. Northwestern comes back, ties it up, sends it into the 8th inning, and Arizona State kind of just mishaps. They end up scoring 3.
Mm-hmm.
So game 2 is extra innings. They move on, and the game 3 was again similar. We're sitting there watching it, and it was the 3rd inning, and Arizona State just went bananas and scored 4 runs in the inning. And I was like, this sucks, man, because they're just two great teams, but one team's there more consistently on that level. And
Somebody's gotta
you
lose.
start thinking of like that new team to really get into the World Series. I'm like, this sucks. And the girl for Northwestern, she pitched all 3 games. Like she's just their workhorse, and it's we're watching it in Game 3 and it's 5-0 Arizona State, and I was like, Jessica's probably gonna get run ruled. I think this is just where the more refined, mature teams that's been there before, they just do what they do all the time. No, man, Northwestern, I guess they heard me and took it personal or something. I don't know, but they off and they're in the World Series. So big props to Rachel, Les, Allie, Russ, that whole family. Just knowing them, hanging out with them, talking to them, and it sucks because they're the West Coast time. So one of the games started at 11.
Yeah.
And I said, Les, buddy, I said, love you guys, but I'm not built for this anymore. So I'll check it in the morning. And I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go to the bathroom, and I come in, and they just tied it up. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Not going back to bed now.
It's 2 o'clock in the morning. And Jessica's like, I guess you're not going back to bed. I'm like, no, I'm not. Not at all. So now I'm watching the end of this game at 2 a.m. Like, come on. But I'm texting Les at the same time. Like, see, that's what I was talking about, dude.
Here I am.
What's going on? But that was an exciting series, man. Absolutely exciting series. And it's neat to see somebody that, at that level play on that stage,
awesome.
man. It's so cool. So, Rachel Lewis, big shout out to you. Congrats. She got drafted into to play professionally.
Wow.
So it's cool to see and to support her and that family.
Nice story. There's just not a whole lot. I mean,
And unfortunately, they're running they're
buzzsaw.
running in Oklahoma, who is, I don't know, they just play on a different level than anybody. They're unbelievable. We were looking at them, we were watching them, Paige and I, and she was like, man, they're all big. So I pull up their roster, and it's like 5'9", 5'7", 5'9", 5'10", 6 foot, 6'1", 5'9", 5'7". Where? Where do they come from?
Must be, yeah.
They have the best pitching in college softball, the most home runs in college softball. And when we were watching a game, I can't remember who they play in. They're like, yeah, Oklahoma has not made an error yet in the tournament. I'm like, oh.
Buzzsaw. Buzzsaw, buzzkill is what it is.
Yes.
So we'll see how that plays out. Again, we'll be, I guess, putting out there how we can get your hands on some of this Tom and Q merch.
Sweet merch.
Great for the Who Day season as it comes up. We got the orange and black mix, the color of the year, I guess.
Yeah.
Pretty sharp. Looking forward to it.
A little pivot color, maybe?
A little bit, maybe a little bit of everything.
A little bit of
everything. It's not too bad. Looks good. We appreciate all your help, Ryan, Local Legends, White Oak Productions, everybody that's taken part. Thank you so much. That's it for our show today. We will talk to you later. See ya.
See ya.